Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Good eve. Excuse me. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with this channel or watching this channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because on this platform we speak about everyday issues where we try to seek logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. Now, tonight's episode is going to be a more of a somber stream, and the reason why we're having this stream tonight is because it's in memory of Gloria Negron, and for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar who she was my mother. Now, what I'm going to ask everybody, um, first of all, thank you very much for all the people who are seeing fit to subscribe to my channel. I just want to say a huge shout out to them. I'm just going to ask that if there's anybody that has not done so, uh, please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do go live, uh, you will have the opportunity to catch it either live or catch it on the playback. So, so tonight's episode is going to be a dedication to my mom. And let me just explain to you briefly um, a little history about my mom. Um, my mother lived to be 86 years old, and she had a difficult life. Um, she was the only child, and she had to deal with a lot of struggle, and she'd gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. Among the trials and tribulations my mother had to go through was to bury four of her children, her husband, which is my father, plus one grandchild. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share in a screen. Just give me a moment. Okay. For those of you, okay. Okay. Just bear with me. Unfortunately, we have these are technical difficulties that are sometimes beyond. Okay. Now, the image that you see um, is my mother, Gloria Negron. And 2 years ago, uh, I took my mother to the hospital. Unfortunately, due to the situation with COVID-19, I was not able to accompany my mom to the ER. So it was a scary experience for an elderly person to be in the ER by herself without loved ones nearby. Uh, my mother was in the hospital for about 3 to 4 weeks, and her health unfortunately deteriorated to the extent that she was left in a vegetative state. But one thing, she made it perfectly clear that under no circumstances will she be kept alive through artificial means. Um, so we honor our mother's last wishes. And my mother spent her last days being surrounded by her four remaining children, which consists of myself, my sisters Iris and Maria, and my brother Emmanuel, and several of our nephews and nieces. And in fact, it was about this time 2 years ago that my mother gained her wings, so to speak, and she passed away. The fact of the matter was, I took her passing very hard. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that there's currently 3 people watching, 4 people watching the stream. And I just want to say thank you very much. And I'm gonna keep it 100. I had second thoughts about doing this stream because the fact of the matter is, I still have not fully healed from my mother's passing. And I see you have a comment. Yes, thank you, Sister Nancy. Thank you very much for your kind words. Um, now, as I said it before, my mother was a very strong woman, and the values that I have, they all came from my mom. My mom taught me certain things. Among the things my mother taught me is to treat everybody the same way you want to be treated. And I see we have another comment. Okay. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you very much. And I hope you forgive me if I get a little emotional, because in all fairness, I have not fully recovered from my mother's passing. But the reason why I wanted to honor my mom, and you can tell from my voice, I'm getting a little emotional, and I truly apologize. But it's just that when you experience so many deaths in your own family, and then your mother, and then you lose your own mother, who was the first person that you see as you leave the womb and then enter the world. A mother's love is unconditional. And those of you who are moms can understand that. Mothers go through so much pain and struggle for their kids. Let's see, and I just hit another comment. She says, you have no need to ask whether you have every right to grieve as you please. I can tell from your voice that you're really still trying to heal. I can hear the pain. It's okay to be emotional. You're okay. Okay. Thank you. So as I was saying before, the reason that I'm the person I am today is because of mom. My mom was there when I finished high school. My mom was there when I graduated from college. My mom was happy to receive the news there about my first promotion and having my own place. And I see we have two teachers. Okay. Yeah, I am. That's the reality. But thank you to teacher for stopping by because I know that it's been 9 years since your mom passed away. So I'm not going to claim to say that I understand what you're coming from, but we both deal with similar pain. As I was saying, my mom lived to see me get my first promotion, and she also lived to see me become a homeowner and actually visited my home for the one and only time. So, okay. I see two teachers has a comment. Okay, well, I am truly sorry for your loss to teacher. Okay, and the fact of the matter is, those of you who their mom is still alive, you really need to value them because once they're gone, they're gone. And who knows how long it's going to be before I see my mom in heaven. But only God knows. But another thing my mother taught me is to not give up and to be a fighter. And let me tell you something. It's not easy for a mother to bury 4 of her children, a grandchild, and her husband. And I see we have two teachers. Yeah, I can understand. And to be perfectly honest, 2020 was a rough year. The beginning of the year, I lost my oldest sister. She had stage 4 lung cancer. And then 6 months later, my mother passed away. So, but my mother lives in my heart. And when I go to the cemetery to visit my mother's grave, I can still sense her presence. And I see Hazel has another comment, which is, yeah, that's true. So that's the reason why you have to set your priorities in certain things that are important. And I see there's another comment from two teachers. Yeah, you know what? I agree. I understand. To be perfectly honest, um, I don't know. Okay, it's going to take a while for me to feel normal. I mean, just to put everything into perspective. In 1990, my eldest brother passed away. 7 years later, my nephew passed away. In 2012, 4 days before my birthday, my father passed away. Less than a year and a half later, my younger brother passed away. Less than a year and a half later, my older brother passed away. And in the beginning of 2020, my oldest sister passed away. And then 6 months later, my mom went to be with the Lord. So out of a family of 10, 4 are left. And I see we have another comment, which is, yeah, that's true. No. There's four of us left. But what gives me hope and gives me solace is that with all that, I'm still here, and I have what remains of my human family. I have my union family. I have my church family, and I also have my YouTube family. So I have adopted several people. Such Denise, Christina, Multi, Gigi, and Hazel. I have adopted these ladies as my cyber daughters. I also adopted the 18th letter and Radical as my cyber sons, MK as my cyber son-in-law, and the introvert Boricua and Truth Teacher as my younger cyber brothers. So let's see, I think. Yeah, you know what? You're processing the 12-year-old goes past and you hardly had time to catch your breath before and don't take the time you need. Well, that's the reason why, I take days off, and I'm also seeing a therapist to deal with all the stuff that I've been going through. Because one thing I notice in these YouTube streets, that you come across a lot of people in need of therapy. Let's see what's... Oh, True Teacher, you are the one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link, but only briefly. If anyone wants to join the panel, that's perfectly fine. If you do not wish to do so, That's perfectly fine as well. Okay. Yeah, and I see Hazel. Yeah, a lot of people are here need help. I'm glad that you're seeking therapy, dear Jose. Well, the fact of the matter is this: you have to acknowledge the fact. Excuse me, this computer is acting funny. You have to acknowledge the fact help and to seek the help, and I don't know why my computer is acting up. Okay, so the leak. It seems like my Wi-Fi is. So what I'm going to do, like I said before, they can do so. Otherwise, I'm going to end it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dispense with this with the. Okay, let's see if I
Hey,
can add.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, good evening to teacher.
Hey, good
Yeah, I
evening,
can hear
Jose.
you.
Okay, great. Man, listen, you haven't had time to recover from all of the passings in your family, so you're not just dealing with the grief of your mom, you're dealing with the totality of you're processing all of it, you know?
Yep,
So you just
yep.
gotta give yourself time to wrap your head around all of it and to process it, I mean, like, my mom, like, July 9th was her anniversary. It's weird because it's her birthday and it's also the anniversary of her passing because she passed on her birthday, you know
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the first year I think was the hardest one. The second year, I did, like, a little private ceremony for her here. I
Hmm.
have she my mom wanted to be cremated, so I have her urn here with me, and I have it like
Okay.
on, the ancestor shrine. And this year I didn't do anything special. I don't know how to describe it. I just wanted to be alone, you know? I just
Yeah.
wanted to be alone and just not do anything really, just spend a quiet, peaceful day.
Hmm.
Um, it's weird because it's one of those things that there really isn't language to fully express what it feels like, you know? The best I can say is it's just a
Hmm.
vacuum. It's a
Yeah.
vacuum. And everybody is going to process it differently. Like, for me, I think I experienced so much grief while she still was alive because she was sick and I was trying to get her back home. It's like I went through all of that, so when she passed, it was so unexpected. It's like emotionally I just shut down. It was like I was
Hmm.
just completely cold, and I really didn't understand, like, what the hell was happening to me. I was like, I'm supposed to have emotion, and there wasn't any emotion for anything, really. And then I went through a period of, like anger. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like that brief period when I lost my mind with a certain individual who we shall not name,
No,
but I
believe
just,
me, but I know what you mean, but
yeah, it's just, I just had no patience for anyone or anything. And it kind of took me out of character, but that was that was part of the mourning process, because I wasn't
yeah,
just grieving the loss of my mom, but I was also mad at the world for the level of inhumanity that I saw, demonstrated towards us. I was just so appalled at how heartless people can be, especially people who are in supposedly in a profession to help people who are,
mhm,
going through health crisis. I was just so disgusted by how predatory they were and how inhumane they were, so I had no grace for anyone whatsoever. And it took me 2020. The lockdown was actually, psychologically, it was very beneficial for me because I could just, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be anywhere. 2021, I was trying to get myself back in the game and get everything finished with, my studying for my certification, but I was really burnt out. And I'm lucky that my sister, she picked up on, she said, "Look, you're over here trying to do all of this." And she said, "You need to rest. You are burnt out." And she's right. I was. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to start a new career on burnout. How am I going to do this?" She says, "Look, I know you're in a hurry to get this done," she said, "but your ass just needs to rest because you haven't finished processing everything that you've been through. You need to rest." So I did that. And it's only been like the past few months of this year that I started to feel somewhat human again. I mean, it's still a struggle, you know, but I'm in a place where I can push myself forward now, So you're handling it well. Shit, it looks like you're handling it, really great. But hey, I'm looking from the outside in. But you're doing something positive with your life. You're doing positive things with your life. But those anniversaries, yeah, they're gonna be rough because, like, right now, I imagine you're still in that phase where she's gone, but on a certain level, there's this level of disbelief. Like, did this really happen? It's
yeah,
like I see my mom's picture and I ask myself, like, is this really happening? Like, is this a dream? Like, did this really happen? I still haven't completely wrapped my head around the fact that she's gone, you know?
yeah.
And
And just to give you an idea, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
Just to give you
so
an idea, that's not, go ahead.
yeah, I can imagine what
Mhm,
you're going through,
yeah.
Hey, 18 Filetta, what's
And
up? Hazel, what's up?
hey, 18 leather, how you doing, Ratin? Okay. Now, the previous October, I had a total knee replacement.
Wow.
So, and that time, two of my sisters was hospitalized. So you can just
Wow.
imagine what I was going through. So just as I
Yeah.
was just as I was getting ready to go back to work, all of a sudden my older sister passed away.
Jeez. Yeah,
So
dude,
so
you're
I've been
you're you're
through a
still,
great
yeah,
deal.
you're still trying to catch up because it's like you hardly had a chance to catch your breath before another wave hit you, you know? So that's what you're feeling.
Yeah,
You're feeling the totality of all of that.
yeah. So when I hear people moan and groan and complain about little stuff, I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of
Yeah.
patience for those people.
It's like we take a lot for granted. Ironically, my aunt, a year after my mom had her stroke, my aunt had a stroke. And now she's in a nursing home.
Oh
She's
dear.
confined to a nursing home. And it's funny because my aunt was always very aloof from the family. She always had this animosity, bad blood between her and my mom. And it took her, unfortunately, it
Mm-hmm.
took her having to get a stroke and be confined herself to really face herself in the mirror and own up to her bullshit, because the whole time my mom was in the nursing home, she never once went to visit her. She never once like picked up the phone to call her. And now, it's like I visit her every week, and like this past Sunday when I was with her, it was really hitting her, because she was like, oh my God, like what the hell was wrong with me? Because all this time, I was busy being so ridiculous to my sister. What we should have been, I should have been, spending time with her, and we should have been reminiscing of our memories when we were kids and all of this. And I, I messed up so badly. It's like my brother's gone, my sister's gone, and for what? It's like she's like, for what? Just being arrogant and being caught up in my vanity and my feelings. So I think it's very important that when people are alive, that we learn to appreciate them, because when they're gone, you're gonna feel it. And I have certain relatives that when mom was in the nursing home, I told them, look, call her, talk to her, be involved. And oh, they had like excuse after excuse and whatever. And now that she's gone, it's like they really, I said to them, listen, when she's gone, you're really gonna feel it. You're really gonna feel it, and you're gonna regret when she's gone that you didn't take the time to communicate more with. And sure enough, you know, sure
Yeah.
enough,
Um,
you
ex-
know,
yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me. I just want to acknowledge that the 18th letter is here. Good evening, Joaquin.
Hey, shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose Negron. Shout out to my boy Truth. Where you been at, my brother? Where
hey,
you been at, man?
trying to put my life back together again.
I
Humpty
understand
Dumpty,
that.
Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, and now he's trying to put himself back together again.
It's tough times for all of us, brother. I definitely understand. Definitely understand. I would just, wanted to come in. I don't have that much time and just chime in on the subject. Rest in peace to both of you guys' mothers, and I understand, the feeling. Um, my mother is still here, but me and her don't have really a relationship. I was raised by my grandmother, and my grandmother, who had just passed away a couple of years ago, fighting breast cancer. And she
Yeah,
was, and it's cliche to say, but she was one of the strongest women that I ever known in my life. She taught me so much. She was very, she taught me about, having self pride, having self respect. She taught me especially about, the history of, taught me a lot of African American history as well as history on black people in the diaspora. And she was a businesswoman. She was all about her money, and she had, maneuvered through some tough times in the 50s and the 60s, into her early adulthood. And she was just one of the best women that I've ever known. She made it where I can come and talk to her about anything. You have a lot of people that, really don't particularly care for what their kids have to say. But her, she was, she was the person that told me whatever it is, we're gonna have open dialogue about it. If you want to speak about how you're feeling on certain things, just have a conversation. And I miss her. I miss her with all my heart because she really had my back. We live in a world where it's very cutthroat and people backstab even relatives. Let's just keep it real with relatives. Some relatives, it's not even any love there. It's just an acknowledgement that we're relatives. So we don't really, we don't wish harm on each other. But some people within your own family don't care what happens to you. And with
Yeah,
her, when you
yeah,
get someone that have genuine love for you, or somebody that's willing to go to back for you, that's the person that that's going to ride with you when that person passes on. You feel it, man. You feel it. You feel it. Her
yeah,
voice still plays back in my head. A lot of the times, the conversations that we had, you just feel that person's energy. That person's energy is still there.
yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate that we have, a lot of times we have family members that we just can't deal with them. It's like I have, my aunt's firstborn. It's like the two of us were just like oil and water. And it's not anything on my side, but it's on his side. From the time we were kids, he just had something going on, and he's estranged from his mom because she was a she look, to be honest with you, she was a handful, and she's estranged from both of her kids, and I don't know, it's just sad to see her in the position that she's in now. And I just pray that now that she has an understanding of like what she did, that there can be some kind of reconciliation, a closure between her and her kids. But oh man, like, look, man, this life ain't easy. And yeah, I can imagine what you're going through, because for my mom and my aunt, their grandmother was the one that was what your grandmother was to you, not because their mother was, messed up or anything, but after my grandfather got killed, she had to come up here to the United States and, work to send money back to support everybody. So she wasn't able to raise them like that. It was my grandmother that was able to step in and have everybody's back. So yeah, it's like I
Um,
can imagine what that's like for you. That's She sounds like she was a very special woman.
I just want to acknowledge the fact that Magic Mulata is in the chat. Good evening. Thank you very much for your kind words. And just before I continue, I just want to let everyone know, if you have not done so, um, the 18th letter has a new channel now. So I'm going to ask that you please subscribe to his channel. And of course, my cyber younger brother, True Teacher, has his own channel. So I'm going to ask that you subscribe to his channel as well.
Yeah.
And Magic Mulata has her own channel. So I'm going to ask you, if you have not done so, please support her channel by subscribing and catching her content. Please forgive the commercial interruption, but you have to, I believe in showing support to those who support me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I want to
I
get
agree.
around to everybody, but I'm like, I'm just like sacrificing a little time to be with you because I saw like the topic, and I wanted to come through and just, give you some moral support. But yeah, I mean,
Thank you very much.
it's something that we all got to go through. And I guess that's part of what helps me to heal, is realizing that this is just a part of the life experience. And without death
Yeah.
there is no life. It's You have to have that transition. And one day, everybody is going to be, missing us, you know?
Absolutely, and that's why it's important for us as people. And thank you, Magic Mulata. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. That's why it's important for us as people to treat people the way you want to be treated, man.
Absolutely.
If you see people, don't put people down. Lift people up, show respect. I know it sounds cliche, but just show respect, man. Like always, I never get on here and disrespect anybody's. I don't want to be one of those people that when I'm laying on my deathbed, people are like, "Oh, good riddance. Did he leave me anything? Or he didn't leave me anything? Okay, I don't care." I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be one of those people that when I'm getting ready to check up out of here, I want my grandkids to be around me saying, Grandpa, Grandpa, the 18th letter, don't go. We need your wisdom. Don't go. I want to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people that's filled with hate. And I've never been like that. Usually, if I directed hatred towards someone, it was in response to somebody directing hatred towards me or directing negative energy towards me because I was taught to meet aggression with aggression. That's just,
Yeah.
to survive. That's just the way I was taught. But like I just miss those conversations. I really do miss those conversations with my grandmother. I mean, she was a class act. She was really a class act. I'm talking, she worked she experienced some of the most harshest prejudice and racism growing up in inner city Chicago. She worked through that. She was self-made. She was really a self-made woman. Owned two businesses, was able to travel abroad, mink coats, Cadillacs. She tried to help everybody in her family. She dealt with a lot of jealousy from people in her family due to the fact that she had become successful, and she had what you would call survivor's remorse. A person that feels sorry that they made it and trying to
Yeah.
help and reach back to help
Yeah.
other people who some of those people just didn't really want to put in the work that she put in to get out of the ghetto. And of course, not all. We've had relatives that did pretty well, but ones that were just gimme, gimme, gimme without
Mhm.
trying to do anything for themselves, or
Yeah.
some people you can just see that they don't know how to really get out of their situation. They can't think that far. But she just taught me about finances, how to save my money. And this was a woman that my father was her only child, and she lost him at a young age. And you know, she made a pact with my grandmother, which I mean with my granddad, which my grandfather look out for my sister, and she was going to take care of me. She made that pact with him at my dad's funeral, and from that point on, she was coming to pick me up. This woman was, throwing me birthday parties at school, buying me the latest fashionable things. Like this woman, she was just the like it was just joy whenever I seen that van coming down the block, and I knew I was getting ready to, get picked up by my grandmother. And you know, relationships like that, if you have good relationships with certain people, you want to cherish those relationships because we're here one day and we're going the next. And that's pretty much it. And the more and more time goes on, I think people are becoming more desensitized due to the internet, from people passing away and different things like that. Every once in a while, to the audience, I need everybody to put their phones down and get out there and you converse with your people that are close to you. You converse and have dinner and go different places with those people that are the closest to you, because sometimes we get wrapped in the virtual world so much that we forget about the real world, and I'm no different, myself included. And it's important. That's very important. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just want to appreciate
um,
the fact that the stream has 12 likes. I just want to say thank you very much.
well, Jose,
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
teacher.
bounce out because I got to get a few more things
Yeah, I
accomplished
took. Okay.
before I go to
Well.
bed. So I'm just sending you
Oh,
love,
thank you
light,
very much for.
and love and light to everybody in the
Thank.
chat. And I'll see you all again really, really soon. All right, man. Peace out.
Okay, thank you. Take care. And I just want to acknowledge the presence of my cyber son-in-law. Um, MK, I really appreciate the fact that you stopped by. And Rakim, I also appreciate your presence as well. It's just that, like I said before, this is one of the most difficult streams that I have to do, but I thought I had to do something to honor my mom. And good night, Hazel. Be safe out there. Joaquin, go ahead.
Yeah, I got to get ready to go myself, Jose. I just wanted to come in and,
Okay.
speak on your stream for a quick second. Thank you for allowing me on your platform. And yeah, I definitely understand things being difficult because it has definitely been difficult for me in this last couple of years, because it's not really a lot of people that you can turn and talk to whenever you got any type of personal issues or anything like that. And she was one of those people. And, we were all about coming up with a solution. So, that person unfortunately is no longer here. So I gotta, try to find a way to maneuver on my own and do things on my own. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand. And I'm, 34 years old. I don't really, have any parents. And she was the person that had my back the most. So I definitely, know how it is. It just feels like, it feels like, you dealing with, issues in the world by yourself sometimes, or, you don't have that, person that's your, that you can lean on. So, but thank you once again, Jose. Shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose Negron, and good night to the audience. You guys have a good one.
Okay, good night. Be safe out there. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to wrap this up. Unless there's anybody that has a comment or anybody else wants to join the panel. To be perfectly, as I stated before, this has been without a doubt the most difficult stream that I had to do, but it was necessary to honor the memory of my mom, Gloria Negron. And you'll forgive me, I'm just going to say a few words in Spanish. Mi mamá fue una guerrera muy, muy valiente. Mi mamá sufrió mucho eh, la pérdida, la pérdida de cuatro de sus hijos, un nieto y su esposo. Y la verdad, los valores que yo llevo fue por gracias por mi mamá. Mi mamá siempre vivirá en mi corazón. Solamente quiero decir, mami, te extraño mucho, te amo mucho. Y un día, si Dios permite, vamos a ver cara a cara en el cielo. Te amo mucho, mami. Te extraño mucho. Pero por lo menos que no está sufriendo, porque estaba sufriendo por mucho tiempo. Y yo podía ver con mis propios ojos. Yo soy muy orgulloso de tener dicho hacia su hijo. And for the benefit of those of you who does not speak Spanish, I just simply stated that my mother was a true warrior and that she had to deal with the passing of four of her children, a grandchild, and her husband, my father. So I just want to let everybody know that I really appreciate everybody in the chat, Magic Mulata, MK, Hazel, to teacher, Nancy, she happened to be a dear sister in the Lord. But the Bible does say to be absent in the body is to be present in the Lord. So at this point, my mom is rejoicing in heaven with my three male siblings that have gone before me, and my sister and my nephew. Just as a reminder to everybody, we're going to be doing a stream this Thursday. It's going to be it's going to be a live call-in show. The topic will be, can a 304 become a wife? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing my estimation is some characteristics regarding what is responsible wife, and some characteristics regarding a 304. Now, I just want to let everybody know that due to the nature of the topic, I'm going to ask that if there's anyone below the age of 18, please do not watch the stream, because it is intended to be for mature audiences only, and we may get into topics where it's not fit for children to listen to. This Sunday, it's scheduled for 5, but I may push it back to say 6 or 7 o'clock. And the topic will be, why do we have trolls? The reality is that any YouTube creator, after a while, when they start to become successful, will have trolls. So there's going to be there's some trolls which are humorous, and there's some other trolls which are downright nasty. So I just want to thank you all who watched this live, and I want to thank all of those who watched this on the playback. And the fact of the matter is, my mother will forever live in my heart. So with that being said, I'm going to close the same way I always close. People, do not let the errors of the past damage your future. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will get infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. And unfortunately, there is no cure regarding that mental illness. So I'm just going to say thank you very much for a rather somber version of Uncommon Sense. And again, if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do prepare content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or to catch it on the playback. So this has been a somber version of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And I thank you very much, and I wish all of you a blessed night and peace.
Be strong. Be strong.